Hello, divine creations, divine marvels, children of God. Thanks so much for dropping by, and a merry day after Christmas. So, I don't know if it's popular in other parts of the world, but over here in the United States, one of the most popular Christmas songs is called "The 12 Days of Christmas." And it wasn't something that I ever really thought about until I came across Bruno Groening's teaching that the grace of Christmas isn't just on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, though my understanding is Bruno taught it was focused on Christmas Eve, but that it actually continues through the first week of January. And so that got me thinking, in fact, he gave a specific date, and I've only heard it. I haven't read it. It was either January 5th or January 6th. And I've said 6th a couple times on this channel, but actually, I'm guessing he said the 5th, but regardless, because that's kind of the traditional. But this idea of a sacred season, while it was very new to me, it's actually been honored and celebrated for a long time, specifically in the Catholic and the Eastern Orthodox Church. And the origin of the song, "The 12 Days of Christmas," is actually that those 12 days, starting with Christmas Day, and then for 12 more days, that Christmas is to be celebrated for 12 days. That's a holiday. So I'm going to look at that a little bit over these 12 days. And so let's see, today I think today is day 3 of the 12 days of Christmas. So thank you all for joining in, and thanks for saying hi forever. So let's take a little time and let's take in some of the goodness. Bruno spoke about how Christmas was a time of giving, but human beings tend to focus on giving each other presents, but that God gives a very special present during this time. So let's spend some time and take that in. Just observing your body while having the will, the intention to receive. Just opening to receive. So, how we each choose to, or if we even choose to, celebrate these 12 days, it's interesting. The Eastern Orthodox Church and the Catholic Church have various structures of how they celebrate it. They read certain things on certain days and so forth. For myself, I'm just asking myself, how do I want to? And part of it is to really reflect on a revelation I had Christmas. I mean, you could technically say Christmas morning, very early in the morning, and just to really spend some time each day really reflecting on that. So I'm going to read something that Bruno Groening said about Christmas. And this is from the book Powers of the Spirit, page 266. Dear friends, as you know, we celebrate today, as we do every year, the Feast of Love and Peace. What an interesting new name for Christmas, the Feast of Love and Peace, the celebration. Feast nowadays, feast usually just means something to do with food, but really what feast means is celebration. So a celebration of love and peace. Wow. It is the custom with you that people give gifts to each other, to give each other joy. But they are only earthly gifts, for which people usually show their gratitude by giving something in return. On the other hand, hardly anyone now has any idea of the divine gift, the birth of Christ, which is what should be celebrated first and foremost on Christmas. You don't even know anymore why, for what reason, for what purpose Christ came to this earth, and you therefore do not grasp the true reason for his birth. But I must tell you, dear friends, that as long as you do not understand the birth of Christ, you will not be able to comprehend the meaning of your own birth. Then again, you also do not know why you are alive and for what purpose God has given you this wonderful body. So there's some things that Bruno Groening says that I feel like I have a lot to say about, and I love sort of exploring. And then here Bruno Groening just very clearly says that people don't understand why Christ came, but they also don't understand why they came. Why are in essence, people don't know the answers to the question, why am I here on this planet in a body? Why did God give me this body? And Bruno Groening says that the way to find the answer to that question is to understand the reason why God sent Christ. That it's a profound mystery. So let's spend a little time. I'm just going to read that again, the last part again. You don't even know anymore why, for what reason, for what purpose Christ came to this earth, and you therefore do not grasp the true reason for his birth. But I must tell you, dear friends, that so long as you do not understand the birth of Christ, you will not be able to comprehend the meaning of your own birth. Then again, you also do not know why you are alive and for what purpose God has given you this wonderful body. So let's spend a little time and reflect. Maybe first of all, be humble. Ask to be humble that, hey, maybe I don't have it all figured out. Maybe I don't even know why am I here? Why am I here on this planet? And then while there are many, many theological answers to why did God send Christ. Why did Christ come? Let's open ourselves during this Christ Mass, which literally means Christ celebration season, and ask to be shown. As I was sitting here reflecting on this question, what comes to mind is different answers that I've read or heard. What's the purpose of life? What is Christ's coming about? And the thing is, even if I had welcome, Sean. I'll finish this up and then I'll say hello. Even if I'd read or heard an answer that was correct, until it's like alive in me, until my heart or soul says, oh yes, that is correct, then it's just an idea in my head. It's just a belief. And belief doesn't really get us very far. Bruno Groening called us to convince ourselves of the truth and to really know, to directly know, in essence, to kind of hear it from God. Like, let's say I just said, oh, the reason why Christ came to earth is A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And let's pretend that's accurate. Okay, even if each of you heard that and took it in without the soul, our deepest being, saying, yes, that's correct, then it's nothing more than an idea, even if it's a true idea. Bruno Groening was all just over and over in so many different ways called us to know things directly, as opposed to having opinions. He was very clear that there's a big difference between an opinion and knowing the truth. Welcome, Sean. New to Bruno Groening, felt lost this morning. This helps. So grateful that you found this channel, and may it serve you. And waves come and go. As human beings, even each one of us is going to have times where we feel lost and stuck or confused, or is part of the territory. Now Bruno did speak about life as a school. And my understanding is that part of that school is learning how to rise above all of our problems. How to face, let's face it, being a human being is not easy. I mean, Bruno Groening didn't have it easy, and he, he sometimes would speak about how painful it was for what he called the human part of himself. And so to face that pain, to meet it with truth, with faith, with perseverance. And I say these things is like, that's what I strive to do every day. And some days I do better than others. Some days I do feel lost. Not so much for whole days anymore, but occasionally. So welcome, Sean. Hope this channel serves you. Kind of in response to what Sean said, but really for all of us, we need God. There's just no way around it. We can physically live without God, but spiritually, we're unwell without that experience of connection. And when we realize that we're souls, that it becomes apparent why. The body needs air. The soul needs connection to God. Now, the body will die without that connection. And if the soul isn't experiencing it every moment, it doesn't die, but it's very painful. It's painful for me to not feel connected to God. And if it goes on long enough, I start to feel unwell and I feel lost without that connection. So, Bruno Groening said to be connected to God, that is everything. It's a strong statement. But then what do we do when we're feeling disconnected? Well, the first thing is for the first part of my journey of of endeavoring to stay connected to God all the time, which I've not mastered by any means, is to recognize when I'm not. I was, and I think most people are so habituated to not being connected to God. They don't even notice. Like that's become the new normal. It's very sad, very, very sad. And part of it is having the intention. And when things are really hard, engaging our will. Bruno spoke often about will. He described the spiritual life as a battle, a fight, a struggle, and engaging our will to refine that connection. And if we can't refine it, engaging our will to stay in awareness of the truth that everything is okay and everything will be okay, even when it seems like the world is going mad. And I'm not talking about anything particular. We'd just be having a bad day. When I'm having a really bad day or a bad hour, it seems like the whole world is falling apart. When of course it isn't. That's just the lies of the negative thinking. But in those moments where everything seems hopeless or lost or just unwell, to maintain that, to stand by the truth that everything is okay and will be okay. And by saying everything is okay, that's not to deny problems, but it's also it's about not freaking out over problems. Like this is a temporary experience. God is in control. There is a God. One of my favorite verses from the Bible says, consider it nothing less than, I'm going to look it up. I haven't read it in a while, so my memory's. It's from the book of James. Consider it nothing but joy, my brothers and sisters, when you fall into various trials. Be assured that the testing of your faith produces endurance, leading to spiritual maturity and inner peace. And let endurance have its perfect result and do a thorough work so that you may be made perfect and completely developed, lacking nothing. So, when things aren't going well, one response is to celebrate. Not to be fake about it, but to take on this new attitude of, oh, this is a lesson. This is an opportunity for me to deepen my faith. And that ultimately will lead me to complete peace and fulfillment. How about that for a turnaround? So let's sit with this for a little bit, that we're here on the Earth School and that there's going to be bad times. Sometimes there's going to be really bad challenge. By bad, I mean challenging, painful, really challenging, painful times. And our response to those is maybe one of the main things we're here to learn. Let's spend a little time and take in some more good energy. Bruno Groening would say we need to rise above our problems. But to do that, we need divine help. But we also have to do our part. So I'd like to thank everyone for joining in. I'm going to begin wrapping up. So, we started looking at this idea of the 12 days of Christmas, and it's not just a silly song. It's an actual festival that people have been celebrating for quite some time. And of course, this is connected to Bruno Groening's teaching that this grace, the grace of Christmas, doesn't just happen on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. And then we looked at Bruno's very bold and kind of challenging declaration that no one really understands why Christ came. And hence no one really understands why they came. And that the two are somehow intimately linked. That if we understand why Christ came to this earth, we'll understand why we came. A very warm welcome to Sean and to anyone else who's new or any return visitors. And then we also looked at the school of life that we're here to learn. And sometimes that learning is really challenging. And I put forth the idea that maybe one of the main lessons is learning how to face challenge and adversity and rise above it. And that ultimately this is going to lead to something wonderful. It may not be so fun in the moment. So let's spend a little time asking that we come to a true understanding of why Christ came. Let's ask for help rising above, meeting adversity with faith and serenity. For any special requests we have, let's ask. Once again, a very warm welcome to Sean and a welcome back to everyone else who joined in. And I wish you a beautiful, beautiful third day of Christmas. Take care. Much love.